Hello, good morning. This is Keith Swenson, and this presentation is about how to use the customized email templates. Now, this is an advanced feature, and it's brand new, so it's rather complicated. If you're not already an expert in Weaver, this is probably not the video for you. But there's a few people who want to customize their email templates. So I'm going to walk you through that, and I'll try to give you as much as I can. It's not easy, but it can be accomplished. So first of all, this is a trial website. This is just a test website. So none of the information you're seeing on here is real. This is all just test data. But I have a site called the Osprey Citizens Group. Okay, it's a fake organization. To change the email templates, you have to go to the site level, and you have to go to the site admin, and you must be. There's a set. If we look at the roles, there's a set of executives here. You must be in the executive role for the site. Otherwise, you will not be able to do this. You will get error messages. And you go to site admin. Under options, this will probably move to a different place later, but right now there's a thing called template edit. And when you go to template edit, you go to this template editor. There's two buttons down here, get from the server and update the server. When I get from the server, I'm going to get the template here. And this is it. This template is written in a special language called chunk templates, and you'll see the extension is CHTML. Mostly it's HTML because it's going to produce HTML message, but the chunk template has these special little commands in here, and there is a document covering that, so I can refer you to. Now, first of all, let me remind you what an email template does. It's for sending email. So I'm going to choose this workspace here, and under email, I'm going to choose create, and here I can create a message. This is my message, and I can address this to a set of people here. I don't know who's in this workspace, but let me just add a couple of people there. Oh, I have to save it first, so let me just save that. Then let's also display action items in there. I guess maybe that one. Okay, so save it and preview. So here's what you're getting is you're getting this composed email message. Now you can see that again, it says note from, and it's got a name, it's got workspace, it's got this is my message, and it's got action items down here. Oops, I clicked on it. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the site. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. I'm going to go back up here to the site. I'm going to go into site admin. I'm going to choose template edit, and I'm going to get it from the server. Now, it turns out this is the HTML that is that message. And the best way we can see this is, let me just, this little command here, a command starts with a curly brace and a $sign. I don't know if you can see that. And then intro is the field, and then it's converting it to from Markdown to HTML. And you'll see a lot of little fields like this. Here it says note from, and note from, the B here means bold. You need to know HTML. And then there's a link here to actually to going to that. So if we go back to the email message, we'll see note from, and this is a hyperlink. So you're creating a hyperlink with an A and an href. Again, this is HTML. And then you can put these values from the data in there. Here's the sender name gets put in there. And if the sender doesn't have a name, it puts unnamed sender in there, and it makes it HTML. That's how these little commands work. There's a document on this. You'll have to read that and understand that. If there's a meeting, it'll display some meeting information. If there's attachments, it'll display some attachments. If there is a note, it'll put the note in there. If there are goals, then here it will create this table of all of the action items. And again, we actually see that in this case. I did choose some action items. That's how that's there. So everything you can display is there. Now, here's the first thing you got to do as a test. It says note from, these are the titles, and then workspace, here's the thing for the titles. Right after that, I'm going to put a new message here. and I'm going to say having fun. And I'm putting that, styling that with an H2 because heading 2 is rather large, and we'll actually see that. So now I'm going to update the server. Now, to make sure the server's update, what I often do is I refresh this page and get it from the server, and I still see that having fun there. So let's go back over to the email message, and now I'm going to refresh this page, and notice that the message now says having fun down here. We've made a change of it. Let's say I want this heading here. I want this row to be blue colored. So let's go back to the here. We have to go down and we have to read the HTML and understand the HTML. So this requires someone who understands that. But it turns out that this is the that's the row that's the headers. You can see the action item assignments, all that kind of stuff. And if we say style equals background color colon sky blue, happen to like sky blue. So now for that row, I'm setting the background color. I click update server. Okay, maybe refresh the page, get it from the server to make sure that it's there. So it was way down here, but if we eventually get down there, we still see that the style background color sky blue is there. We'll go here. Let's just do a refresh, and sure enough, now that's colored blue. Now, what a lot of people are going to want to do is enter maybe put an icon or a logo in here. So I've picked a random site, and I've got a logo here. Best way to do it is to open the image in a new tab, and we'll take a look at that. I'm not associated with this at all, so I hope this doesn't offend anybody. But the thing is, I have to have a URL which is publicly available. Okay, so don't use a URL that you need to have a password or anything like that. You're sending email, so it's got to be publicly available. So I've copied that URL. Now I'm going to go back to the template editor, and I'm going to take out that little note that we put in there about having fun. Instead, I'm going to put an image in there. Image source equals, and I put the URL in there, and I close the image. Now I'm going to update the server. Okay, refresh the page, get it from the server, make sure that it's there. It is. Now I'm going to go back to the email, and I'm going to refresh this. And so now your logo's in there. And colors of the page, fonts can be changed. You could rearrange where these are displayed. This is my message, remember, came from up here. So more message, bullet, and then that's all. Let me again save that and preview it. And so here you see all that stuff I put in. So remember, this message is there, and then that's where we put that little icon in there. So you can style this to be however you want, but you need to know how HTML works. Okay, you need to know how to construct the HTML message that you want to hear. And then you will also need to understand how this markdown works. To explain how the chunk template language works, I will make this document available to you. It's from a slightly different place, but it does explain. There's a data structure. I'll show you the data structure in a little bit. And then it explains how you have various commands. So this will be a field A, or A.B. B is a subfield within A. This takes a field A and converts it to HTML. This takes an integer value and interprets it as a date formatted like this. If it's empty, on empty, you can have it display this value. On empty, it can display unknown, and there's some other things you can do, lowercase at HTML. Now those little commands on the end, these little things after the pipe character, that's a comment. I'll show you that in a moment. But here's all the little data filters. You can uppercase things, lowercase things, hash things. You can encode them as a URL, and I'm not going to go into a lot of the detail on this, but this is documented. You have conditional expressions, so you can ask the question, if some condition, then include this. else include this other part. So a lot of times the documents will have if statements in there, and you'll either include something or not. This is a chain of else ifs and different types of comparison operators that you can use. You can loop for this as that variable, and then you can use that variable x as if this is a list structure, it will then loop and repeat this block for every element. If the list is empty, it'll display this, and this will be displayed between items. Here's another loop, a loop option. You can include another. You don't use include because you don't have any files to include, so you won't be able to do that. And then debugging, there's this debug dump. So let me show you how that works. I think that's worth seeing. Back here, if we look down at the bottom of this, you may have something that appears like this in your template. This is basically calling this variable called debug dump, and it's formatting that as HTML, so you'll be able to see it, and it's putting inside of pre-formatted tags. Now this and this is the beginning and ending of a comment in the template language. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this as a comment, and now this is going to be part of it. I'm going to click Update Server. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page and get it from the server and make sure that it's there, so it's all there. Now let's take a look at what effect that has on the email. Again, we do a save and preview, and what we're going to find down here is at the bottom there's this big data structure. Now this is the data structure that the email is being sent from, and you're going to find a lot of things in there. Base URL, goals. Okay, so these goals, this is the list of action items, and actually you'll find that each action item, here's an action item, it starts here, and this one's assigned to someone named Keith, administrator, and here's all the details about it and descriptions. Here's another one that is not assigned to anybody, but it is, it's got some instructions in there. And so all of these are action items. That's one of the things that you can get out of there. There's other details about the workspace. Here is the text that we typed in. Remember I typed that bullet, bullet, bullet. That's it right here. Actually, opt out is a special thing having to do with the message that appears at the bottom. This is the sender who sent it. There should be a list of, here's the workspace name and the workspace URL. So all of these things are in here, and you can then display intro in the message by, if we go up here and we take a look at the template editor at the top, you have here $intro, and $intro is markdown style. Okay, if we look down at what the intro was, what you'll notice is this is a markdown. It's got the stars in here at the beginnings of the lines. These slash ns are the end of the lines, encoded properly in JSON format here. And so we want to convert this to actual HTML, from markdown to HTML. So that's done with this little markdown command. It converts the markdown to HTML in the email message so that people see it properly. So you probably won't be doing too much with the commands, with the data. You probably want the data to stay the same, but it's there. You can do that. And one thing I would really like to point out is that if you have an open brace, an open curly brace, you must have a closing curly brace. If you remove this accidentally, you will find very strange things happening. And I can't stress this too much. You really have to make sure that every open brace has a matching closing brace, and if you don't have it there, you're going to get some very funny results. You're not going to be able to understand it. You may need to start all over again. I would recommend when you read from the server for the very first time, grab this entire thing and save it off as a text file. Save the initial one, because if you need, if you mess it up, if you accidentally type something wrong, you can't find it, you'll need to be able to go back to that and save this, as you make edits to the template, save it off as your own text file, because you can paste it back into here and update the server, and then you're back where you are. So be very, very careful about this. But you are constructing, you're constructing HTML, So anything you put in here that's valid HTML will get sent in the email message. Now, keep this also in mind, that everything that works on a website does not always work in an email message, because email clients don't obey all of the HTML commands. For example, they rarely actually execute script. So I mean, you can go into here and you can make a script if you want, like that, and put some JavaScript between here. Now, when you look at it here, that script will run because we're looking at a web browser. But when you send that script to an email client, the script may not run. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of things that email clients don't do. They don't always obey, the body. If you put things in body or HTML, it often strips those out, and so you don't see those. But otherwise, you can do all you can do all the HTML in here you want. The system, the Weaver system, will generate that HTML for you, but it will not. I mean, that doesn't mean that the email client is going to see that HTML. Okay, so I hope that I think that's everything that I could give you as a summary here. I've shown you how to test it. Go down to here and create. Go into this create email and do this view, save and preview view, and then you can see what the current state of the template is. I'm going to remove this that little logo. So if you remember, that logo was this image here, and you can use styling on the image and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to remove that now. Update the server. We'll go back to here, and I'll just do save and preview, and now it's gone. So this allows you to go back and forth between the template editor and the email and see what it looks like. Action items. I don't want the action items. I choose none here. Save and preview. Now the action items are gone. Oh, and this little block down here at the bottom, this little debug block. So notice it doesn't have the action items in there now. You may not want, obviously you don't want this in your final email. So go down to here and include that to start the comment. Always match your braces. Update the server, and now let's take a look at what it looks like. Save and preview. So now that's not there. This error is happening now because of this new custom template feature. Doesn't know how to find this other little opt-out message. Don't worry about that for now. I'm going to address that now that I see it here. I'll make that work properly. But template editor, again, it's under site admin, and then right here under template edit, and get it from the server and then update it to the server. This is a very dangerous feature. It's only available to users that are in the executive role for the site, and this applies for the whole site. So if you have a lot of workspaces in the site, this template is going to apply for all of the workspaces. We do not have the ability to give different workspaces different templates at this time. I don't think we will, but you can do it on a site by site basis, and the people running the site have the ability to do that. So hopefully this helps.